Hey Legionnaires, welcome back. We're here with another historical battlefield today, but it's not quite a battle. It is the Siege of Badajoz, fought in 1812 between the Peninsular forces of Britain and Portugal against the French Empire. And oh boy, is this going to be a glorious battle. And I'm excited to be back with more sort of like siege sort of content for NTW3. It's always a bit more of a different sort of style battle. It's very, very different. It's obviously like the more like fluid and like very sort of like game-changing like battles that we see. Siege obviously is a bit more set piece. It's kind of, you know, the army's going to set up and they're going to try and grind their way through this defense here, this star fort that is being defended by Suchet and his corps here inside the corps of Aragon. Which is obviously going to be the defending forces here. The French have got some reinforcements on the way, though. This is pretty historical in the sense that Soult was in command of forces near Badajoz and was kind of closing in on the attackers, the British and the Portuguese, who were besieging Badajoz at the time, and was threatening to obviously come and relieve the siege. Which is kind of why, not Napoleon, Wellington, not Napoleon for sure, Wellington was on a bit of a time limit when it came to sort of taking the town of Badajoz, which was a fortress town. He did try to take it a few times in 1811, a couple of times, but was seen off by the French, who again brought up reinforcements, larger forces than what he had, and managed to scare him off before they could join battle. And that's exactly what's going to happen again. So there are 3 Soult corps all the way like scattered about in different areas. There are 4 British armies. I'm not quite sure where all of them are. There is obviously part of one over here attacking with some skirmishers. Got some, so looks like some green jackets here. Some of Sharp's rifles. They're chipping away at the defenders up here. Actually have inflicted a bit of damage on some of the troops up there. And we also have another army over here with what is turning into a bit of a grand battery over here. We've got a couple of artillery pieces, some Portuguese, looks like some like engineers, like some big siege guns by the looks of it, from Royal Engineers, and there are more artillery pieces here. We can't see them or hear them. That's even sadder now that artillery sounds just don't work in NTW3. But yes, and it looks like there's another British army maybe setting up over here. It looks like getting ready to receive this Soult reinforcement army. There's some light dragoons here. At least I think they're British light dragoons. Yeah, or they often them and the they definitely are British light dragoons. Often them and the Portuguese cav look very similar. These are Portuguese infantry though. Here they're not the famous redcoats, but they're often fairly well trained. Can usually form a square, can cause some sort of damage. Usually still effective, but just not as good as an actual redcoat unit. There are some redcoats over here as well. So it looks like maybe there's a British line sort of formed up around here somewhere. We'll see. But yeah, these French armies, I mean, there's a whole variety of different sort of looks they've gone for. We've got the chasseurs and a lot of infantry over here, like Laguerre and line infantry in this army of Soult. There's another army, if I can find it. I think it's the furthest one over here. Yeah, it's definitely not this one. This one's made up mainly of Poles, I've realised. These are like Laguerre there, but we've got a lot of Polish infantry over here. I've seen some Polish grenadiers as well while they've been setting up. We've got more like line infantry here, the French. There you go, the Polish grenadiers. They look pretty badass. They can't form square though. We have Soult here himself. He is leading this army. And then way over here, this army, which is possibly in a way I think the scariest for the British, is Cav. There's a lot of Cav here. I've counted at least, I think, there's about 6 to 8 Dragoon units. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a Chasseur Cheval. 5. Another Dragoon there. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 Dragoon units there. There's a Lance of the Vistula Legion there. There's a couple of the Chasseur Cheval, like Espanols, like so a few little Chasseur Cheval light Cav units that are going to help. But there's a lot of Cav in this army. So yeah, it's like 9 Cav units plus like 2 Chasseur Cheval. And then there's a Lancer here, the Vistula Legion. So that's like what? 12 Cav units? That's insane. That's a lot of Cav units anyway. This Soult army has gone heavy on Cav. Infantry is probably going to be so-so, I don't know. Looks like a lot of Spanish line infantry actually, and Swiss over here when I kind of look over the units. So yeah, definitely kind of gone cheaper on the infantry, but just gone heavy on the cav, which is not a bad strategy because his allies have a lot of infantry in these ones here. The British are actually tied up in this building here themselves. It looks like they've got some rifles in here. They're going to just harass the French. It's just slow them down, and the line infantry have to go in and take it and take it for themselves. I don't think it's going to be like out of the question who will take this. It will be the French. There's a line infantry unit going in against like rifles down here, and they should take this fairly easy. And there you go, just like that. It's done, dusted, and yeah, building captured. Well done, Frenchies. And now they'll carry on, and they'll move on to the next spot, which is, well, really the battle lines over here. The British are kind of arrayed up on either side of the river here. This could be to their disadvantage because the French could take them out piece by piece. There are lots of Brits, and these look like maybe guards or something like that. They disappeared now. Brits and Portuguese, though, shifting over. I don't know what unit this is. It might be Portuguese as well. I think it's Portuguese light infantry, maybe. They're Portuguese line here. But yeah, they're all setting up. But yeah, the French could just take out these British forces here with their multiple armies, like double team that, and then come across the river and try and take this British force out. If they are two separate armies, they could be the same. But I find it highly unlikely. Light Dragoons over here, you know, just keeping an eye on the Frenchies. And yeah, I'm interested to see where the Dragoon army goes. It looks like it's going to go straight through the back of what is set up over here, which looks like it's mainly like the artillery. And well, at the moment we can see a cav unit as well. Looks like they are definitely Portuguese cav. But yeah, that is obviously the main threat. Really, is actually I'd say this army, but all that cav just can come smashing into the back of what is ever set up here. But yeah, let's get into this battle. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. It's certainly a little bit different. It's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, if you want to see more NTW3 battles, whether they're historical ones or custom ones, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and come to show you support. We actually recently did another famous peninsula sort of like scenario recently, which is the Battle of Bailen, which is fought between the Spanish and the French, and that was historically a Spanish victory. You have to see whether history is recreated or not. The British did win this one, obviously. They did take Badajoz, and Wellington obviously took the reason Badajoz is so crucial is it's really very much on the border of Spain and Portugal. And at that point, Wellington was kind of just only limited to Portugal. He wasn't in Spain at all. He hasn't got any ground in there. So Badajoz was like his first stepping stone to his invasion of Spain, which at that time was occupied by France. So yeah, this is why it's quite an important sort of position. And yeah, Badajoz is going to be tough one to take. That is for sure. I'm sure, like it was in history. We actually have some garde la guerre here, la garde parisienne. So we've seen the Paris guard before, and I think it was the Battle of Somosierra, another peninsula battle we did. This time we're seeing the Parisian guard, but the la guerre variant instead. It's kind of cool. I'll give him that. It's kind of cool. I mean, the line infantry are trying to fire back on these units down here, but it doesn't seem like they're having much joy at all. Looks like, oh yeah, here we go. British lines are opening up. I don't think they're very British. They look like Portuguese units here. They are opening up. They're firing away. They do have the tree line to their advantage at the moment. The French are moving in as well, getting that tree line to cover themselves as well, which is a buff in NTW3. Is it really a buff if both sides are in the trees? Probably not. At that point, it just comes down to basic stats, which the British and maybe the Portuguese as well, depending on the unit, have better shooting stats for sure than the French. The French are going to rely on melee and their big columns of melee infantry. Looks like we've got a few columns here being sent forward. The 64th line, the Jura, look like they're going to get sent in, and they look like they're going to be going in down the line of this Portuguese unit here. We'll see how that goes. Oh no, maybe not. They're going to stop. But to be honest, I would, if this Portuguese line ends here, just hit it on the side. Yeah, here we go. Exactly what I thought would happen. We can't really see very clearly, but there you go. The French are going in against the Portuguese. And there you go. The first sort of engagement bayonet fight is underway, and the British won. They get their volleys off. The second unit, though, might be able to do the killing blow. We'll see. But yeah, the Portuguese can keep getting volleys off just as the French go in. They'll have a good time. Looks like we're going to see a volley into the side, maybe, as the Portuguese this time, as the French go in for a second assault. You know, they're already looking pretty low on morale. whether the Portuguese could just turn the unit a little bit, just get a better angle. More charges down the line. This Portuguese unit looking not so great, as there is Cav coming in as well. The Light Dragoons are coming in. The infantry breaks, but I imagine the Cav will finish off the job. And yeah, Dragoons here hacking away. These Portuguese unable to form square, it seems. And they are routed. And now the Dragoons will go down the line. And I think that is, yeah, multiple Portuguese units are starting to rout in there. And yeah, it looks like just a couple of like Portuguese units, yo. I don't know if they were expensive or not, but and it was just like a Cav unit was in here. Yeah, I think that Light Dragoon might be dead as well that we saw earlier. Well, no, it's Portuguese Cav. It's not the Light Dragoon. Portuguese Cav unit, but that's also been routed. And yeah, I think the French have pretty much blown over like what was just an initial sort of defense by the British. There are some, looks like some much more substantial formations here, more Portuguese, but also some redcoats, which are very much different gravy compared to the Portuguese. These guys are veterans of the Peninsular War. I mean, so are the Portuguese, but the redcoats have just immense shooting stats. They are well trained, and here comes the Cav. Looks like those Light Dragoons going in. They're going to rout these Voltigeurs and get rid of them. Nicely done. Squares are going to stop them in their tracks here. The Legere will be able to get a volley off potentially. Fire when ready. Kill these damn Dragoons. The Hussars are going to try and chase them down as well. And the Light Dragoons should survive that. Yeah, should just about. We actually got a, what's this? Oh, it's a Saffron Miner. Form square, that's hilarious. 38 men. It's a tiny little square. Actually, the Hussars are probably overextending here. They are going to go in for a charge, looks like on some infantry here. It could be Portuguese. Yeah, it is. And they can't form square by the looks of it. The British could try and get some shots off. Yeah, I mean, they kind of fired while in combat there with the Portuguese. I'm so annoyed by this terrain. It's very annoying to, like, try and see what's going on. There you go. Hussars have won the artillery. I think it might be this artillery. Don't know. This just absolutely annihilated the Hussars, though. Yeah, again, Cav now going in. Look at this. Here we go. The British are not stepping down. They are going to carry on fighting, and they went in for a good charge here onto the French. A lot of Polish infantry here. Cannot form square. Looks like some of the Legere can, though. And we have the heavies here. Look at this. The heavy Cav of the British Army, the Dragoons, which they are much more heavier than the French Dragoons. And these guys are pretty much unmatched on the battlefield when it comes to the Peninsula campaign. The French don't really have many cuirassiers or heavy cav themselves. So the British, when it comes to like bringing in a Dragoon unit, can kind of dominate that area. Let's see what's going on with the actual assault. It looks like the British are in fact mounted the walls here. Looks like it might be a Portuguese unit or something like that, or I think it might be, or it could be a Sapper Miner for the British. That's assault on the wall. A building has been lost. Oh, they lost the gate. Oh, yeah, the British are actually on it. Oh, yeah, it's a sapper unit. I think it is, just looking at the size of it. So the sappers have been set up first. They're now going to engage this line infantry down here. That's hilarious. So the British are actually kind of succeeding. I mean, famously, at Badajoz, there was a breach opened. It seemed like well, I mean, they've damaged it a bit, 2%. Some areas are indestructible. But yeah, famously, that's how the British actually assaulted, was a breach point, not going over the walls. So it'd be kind of interesting to see whether the British will open up a breach point. Just, you know, follow history. These are definitely Portuguese going over the wall now. They are dying to the Grenadiers, who are racking up kills here. These Grenadiers doing a good job there. Looks like we've got plenty of British cav this side of the river. It says Dragoons and Light Dragoons again. More British infantry. Well, not British. Oh, these are the Portuguese, I think, maybe routing. I don't know. The French have lost some Dragoons. So trying to cross here. They've been repelled by Portuguese infantry and British squares. And Britain, I think, is trying to retreat across the river. He doesn't want to just stay here and die. He's quite happy to try and retreat. And really, Britain needs to do the same here as well. Get these redcoats back, because otherwise they will be flanked by the French, who have got to the, well, the Poles, really, who've got to the river here. Like, get all these guys back. This is a lot. I mean, a lot of redcoats here. Redcoat lives matter. All I'm saying, and I'm not biased just because I'm British myself. They are in fact going to be the core of this Anglo-Portuguese army that's being formed up here. And this Portuguese unit's not looking so healthy. Red lining already, not good. And there we go. You can see here on this flank, it looks like they are pulling back the British here, which is good to see. And more melee going on down here. This unit, I was saying, needed to get back. The Poles managed to get it in melee. And they might win that. The Poles pretty decent at melee. I think better probably than they are shooting. A bit like most of their French allies. Britain certainly struggles in melee, and there you go. The French or the Poles managing to get this gun as well. Didn't even see this little Portuguese gun down here. Probably why the British stood here and carried on fighting, because they wanted us to defend this. And yeah, look at this. This is not good. Britain losing another infantry unit here. Shame they're routing the wrong way. They're going towards the French lines. But yeah, they can just carry on down the line now, get the British. And they're going to just try and route one after the other. Here we go. We've got dragoons coming in. Artois, the dragoons of Artois, charging these British units here. They're absolutely battered already. Out of the bushes comes the dragoons. That is a brutal charge there. These British units might be able to form square. They need to try to and get out of here if they can. But yeah, this is absolutely a capitulation of the British on this side of the river right now. Some of the squares are being formed. See how they do. They are kind of stacking on top of each other a little bit, these squares. They might stop the French cav, we'll see. There is going to be a lot of melee in this one. If you hadn't already been able to tell, it seems. The French obviously will want to get into melee to fight the British. Also, the British have to get into melee to get over this damn wall, which they actually had done. They got it through the gatehouse, which I think is in British hands currently. And they might be able to get a cav unit in here as well. You can see they're trying to, I think, try and get this British goon through the gate. This is a bold move because the French will just be able to shoot at it freely from the walls. I mean, Britain is... Okay, so we are back. So yeah, the replay did crash, but we are back to basically where we left off. And the British are actually assaulting as well now from the other side of this fort. So yeah, I don't know what I was talking about before, but it would be a shame if the British didn't open up a breach point and they just carry on over the walls like this. But it does look like they're sending over a lot of redcoats here all at once. The French have some sappers and miners, which I guess is technically like a grenadier unit. And they have some like line infantry here, but nothing like too exciting. Cav has actually managed to get inside the fortress here. Look at this! And it's actually taken out the artillery that was here. I don't know if they actually managed to get a volley off or what, but yeah, the British cavalry is kind of going ham right now inside the settlement. And these French infantry, I don't know if they actually did form square, and I don't know if they ever thought they'd ever have to in this battle, but they did form square, and I think they have helped stop this British cav sort of in its tracks. Some infantry is broken. I don't actually know if they did form square, because the British cav looks fine, and they have actually managed to rout that French infantry there as well. The British have managed to get some Portuguese infantry up the wall here, and they're dueling with the French. The British cav just needs to go be as active as possible in melee where it can be, but it looks like it has been routed. These dragoons here have done their bit. Not exactly where they thought they would be. I think they would be fighting outside the walls, but no, they've fought inside. There might be another one, I don't know. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, there is another British dragoon over here, so that's good. But yeah, the battle for the walls is very much
our men are running.
Heating up, we'll say. I was going to say something else, but it looks like it's heating up. There is still a few units to go onto the walls. I guess if the British take it, then it's obviously the French objective to retake Badajoz. Buildings being taken. Buildings being captured. I guess the French put troops into this building here inside the town. What have the British got here now? They have Highlanders. This is a light foot infantry. That Asaya regiment, if I remember correct. It's a pretty good unit. It's I imagine as Highlanders are pretty decent in melee. Are there actually any Highlanders here? Oh yeah, there are. There are Highlanders here. Oh, there's two. We have plenty of Highlanders that'll be going in. That's good to see. And they are going to obviously be doing the job of taking these buildings. They basically act as grenadiers. They are probably Britain's fiercest warriors. The Scots. A general is dead. That is not good. Where has he died? He's fighting over here. Oh my gosh. Really zoomed in. I don't know what unit it was, but yeah, the French have lost the general over here somewhere. I don't know, yeah, which one it is. I can't see many routing French units that have like a combat gen name. But yeah, the British have managed to kill a general over here, and this will probably mean the capitulation of the French defenders inside the settlement. On the left, they'll have less morale, and that could cause all sorts of problems for the French later on. And you can see the British are trying to get as many units as possible now around this fort and just defend this. They obviously know that they are going to lose over here. The French are just too damn powerful. And you can see the British have still got retreating troops here. I think they... I don't know what happened over here, but they're retreating on a lot of fronts. That's for sure. It's still a little bit laggy. I don't know what the issue is really with this replay. It isn't like excessively large, I wouldn't have said, for an NTW3 game. Maybe it's a little melee, I don't know, or what's going on. And this is not a good idea. Britain should not be firing into its own artillery from behind it. That's just a quick way to rout your own artillery through, like they did there. And these British infantry, well, they're probably going to die to a charge here. Looks like line infantry, or maybe not. They might be able to get out of here. They don't want to stay in a line fight too long. They want to try and like fire and retreat if they can. The British here are being assaulted across the river by the French, both by infantry and cavalry. The Poles here as well. I thought when I read the rules that there was a ban on Poles in this for the French, but maybe it's just Vistula Legion infantry they couldn't bring. I think that might have been it, or like Suchet certainly couldn't bring, like the commander in here couldn't bring Poles. That's for sure. Maybe the Sultan could do whatever he likes. And this is not looking good here. The Highlanders are in the city. They're in Badajoz, and they're going to probably beat the French infantry, to be honest. And the French not looking good here. Combatant losing slightly, and yeah, they have been routed. And there you go. I think that is the end of French resistance on it. There's one line infantry unit there, Champagne. Oh no, there's another one there as well. A Legay unit, but that is it. That's all the French then dealt with in Badajoz, and they still have the British a lot of healthy units. The problem is as well for the French, with Britain being better shooters, mounting their troops on the wall here are going to be pretty nasty. There you go, heroic general death. I thought we already saw the general inside here get killed off, but maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Yeah, Britain just needs to get its infantry back. Just get its infantry, man them around the side of the wall as well, like inside and outside, so they can get support from the troops on the wall, and then they can just shoot from below as well. And that'll probably be the best defense they can do against this horde of French troops that's on the way. There's still plenty of French, like Sultan still has some good units. We've got a provisional grenadier here, it's 188 men. That'll be a good unit. They're going to need that for storming the walls. Lots of dragoons. They might actually not, ironically now, might not be as useful to cavalry because, well, the British are going to try and get as many of those guys as they can inside the walls. Cav is not too great inside the walls. I mean, one dragoon did okay, but that was it. And that was the heavy cav unit. The lighter French dragoons might struggle a bit more. It looks like Sultan over here, like the more Spanish infantry are arriving. They are going to set up, and they might be the first to go in, it looks like, against Badajoz's defenses here. We have got some skirmishes set up. Artillery as well, it's turned around. It seems like they just abandoned that. They're not going to try and defend this artillery. It's too slow moving to even try and defend. It's firing at French cav somewhere, maybe the Vistula Legion Lancers. It looks like these chasseurs loyal to Bonaparte, the Spanish chasseurs loyal to Bonaparte are going to go in, or just stop right in front of the artillery. I hope they fire. I really hope this artillery fires. Fire and just murder them. Well, this is like execution. What the heck happened here? They actually did as well. Oh, that was brutal. That actually might rout the cavalry. I think the player forgot, maybe gave the attack order, but then just, or like got them to run up to there. It wasn't giving them the attack order, so they didn't. The artillery didn't suspect it, and then just forgot to give them, like, finalize that attack order. I don't know. That was a strange one. But we've got the chasseurs here of Andalos. So, like, again, more Spanish troops that are serving with Napoleon. And we have actually got a little chasseur cheval here that's managed to get amongst the skirmishers. They're probably going to rout these rifles. I don't think they're too worried about that. But yeah, this is a concern, really. It's the French coming up this hill here. The Portuguese form in square trying to scare off the French dragoons, but really they need to get out of square and get towards the wall over here. Just use that for cover. Another general is dead. Oh, Soult's been killed. I think he's been shot from a wall or something. It must be like a rogue musket ball or something, because he's nowhere near any artillery or infantry. I guess it could be the artillery on the wall up here firing, like the Highlanders up here. I guess could fire their like little artillery that mounts on the wall. I don't think they purposely would aim for Soult. It could have just been a fluke shot. I don't know. That's unfortunate for that French army here. There, we got British cav and British infantry here, trying to hold this this corner of the wall. The British cav's gonna have to try and take out a few of these French units here, these French cav, if it can. The squares obviously very, very useful for anti-cav as well. And here we go, looks like some Portuguese infantry. They're going to get charged by Poles here. In come... They look like British cav, but it's Portuguese cav. Flying under the British flag. That might save that Portuguese infantry. I don't know why these guys form squares. There's not any French cav nearby. Get out of square, you fools. The only cav near you is your own cav. There you go. French infantry routed. Oh, I mean, they look like they're hitting the artillery. Looks like it's hitting its own cav here. I don't know if it's friendly fire or what. The wall artillery needs to be careful. Yeah, there you go. Portuguese cav routed, unfortunately. I'd have thought that the infantry up here, firing over the top of these Portuguese guys, they'd probably have... they wouldn't be doing friendly fire, but I'm not sure. Like, a high... I imagine they would be fine, but we'll see. British cav over here, seeing off the French dragoons. Good job there. The squares as well helping out. It's a very good combo between the two. Still lots of like healthy cav back here. And obviously, the closer they get with their infantry, the more likely we're just going to see a massive bayonet charge, which could go two ways really. Like it could. Either it could be like an obviously decimation, the British could just like losing the bayonet fight because they have just weaker melee stats, or it could be because of the wall support that the French is absolutely routed here. We've got British cav here. Looks like it's routing these chasseurs. We are going to see a charge now from the dragoons here. I mean, they could double team with the dragoons. It's all on its own. There are more. There's the Vicious Legion now coming over. You need to be careful with the British. I'm just pretty sure they fired on their own cav there. I mean, they could definitely take out the Dragoon now. It's just like running off on its own, going after skirmishes or something like that. Definitely could take that out. I don't know why they haven't thought to take that out. This Vicious Legion is shifting over. I mean, whether that could do some damage. That is actually going in for Portuguese cav there. That's going to do its bit. And yeah, this cav fight. All of a sudden, I feel like the British could have won this cav fight, and the French have just turned it around. And they're going to win it themselves instead. And they definitely could have double teamed that Dragoon. And the Vicious Legions managed to get over here and do some damage. What is going on here? Why are British Dragoons, being shot by their own troops? Like, just hold fire when it comes to damn cannons, if they can. It's kind of infuriating, actually. I've just saw, yeah, a couple of British Dragoons just fall down and die. These guys obviously are shifting over here because the Vicious Legion Lancers are there. British lines actually are still looking very healthy outside the wall. They still have a lot of troops over here and look like they are kind of making a bit of a pushback on this side here as well. And the siege of Badajoz is very much turned from a siege to a bit more of a line battle here. Obviously, it was going to NTW3 is, you know, not really designed, or Napoleon is not really designed for siege battles. They are kind of really basic when it comes to them. But it's certainly a glorious one, that's for sure. I guess this is like a what if Salt did arrive on the battlefield. I also guess the British, going back to like not wanting to make a breach, they did try to 9%. Maybe it just takes forever, I don't know. We also probably thought, well, France will be able to use the breach against us once we take the take the fort, which I guess they thought was never in doubt. They always knew they were going to take this fort. Maybe that was the case. I don't know. Just looking at what they got. Britain is actually pushing out again here. I think they can... They probably think they can take these Frenchies on. They probably can. The thing is, obviously, most of the units can form square, so good possibility they can do that. The artillery here is actually on a nice little bit of raised ground, kind of just shooting down these Spanish line infantry in front of them. And it's being protected by other squares and the cav here as well. It's in a good spot. The British guns there, yeah, really well placed, actually. I'm just kind of waiting for the next bayonet charge, which might be here. Here we go. Grenadiers, provisional grenadiers going in. It looks like against a guard or a grenadier unit of the British as well. The mitre hats give that away. And there you go. Dragoons coming in as well, just smashing through redcoats. Red morale going along the line here for the British. And there goes 2 units of infantry broken. Seeing it looks like more grenadiers or something going in, trying to take on these provisional grenadiers. They're doing a good job, actually. And the Cav's going to get out there as well, the Dragoons of Artois. And these guys form square. Now is the time to move forward. Yeah, a lot of like grenadiers or something like that. These, I'm pretty sure that's what they are. Or they might be like fusiliers. I think the fusiliers also have those weird hats. But whatever they are, they're no match to the grenadiers, it seems, even if they are provisional grenadiers. The French are just too goddamn good at melee. I mean, both sides here might trade. I feel like the French, all he's going to take is 1 volley. Actually, they managed it out of there. Wow, I'm surprised. There you go. That was a decent bayonet charge. It actually did kill a lot of British troops there. You can see mostly redcoats down there dead. And that's kind of like that front line over on this side here, kind of dealt with, and they could start to make assaults onto the Badajoz itself very soon. Les Invincibles, this infantry unit's called. Maybe it is invincible, maybe it's not. I mean, it's getting charged in the back by another invincible unit. Double invincibility, eh? And double invincibility worked. They routed that British unit. Nice. Britain, like I said, still making a bit of a push on this side. I don't know if it's really going to make much of a difference, but you never know. Another general dying for the French. I think it's Vincent Ruiz here has died, the Laguerre unit. He's been killed off, and that's actually meant that this Spanish force over here is fully routed. That is unfortunate. I think he got taken out by an artillery piece. That is, yeah, unfortunate. And now Britain's going to be able to obviously just overwhelm what remains of the French forces on this side. Most of the cav, I feel like, was also under this army as well. So they need to be careful with their cav. And yeah, lots of units here on like orange or red morale. Yeah, not looking good here. And look at that, Britain is actually assaulting the guns here that the French wheeled up. And they should rout them pretty easily. And then they can go for these French infantry here if they want to, and take them out. And they're being disheartened by all the routing troops around them. They just need to charge into the red line, and they're routing just at the sheer sight of the British. Wow. And yeah, look at that. That is a big, big win there for the British. And yeah, they're going to basically just get rid of this whole left flank for the French. And it's now just the right-hand side here, which is starting to get penned in a little bit. I thought, to be honest, the French had so much left, but the British also just so much in that. Support, yeah, from the walls is just crucial. Like, these units down here are just safe. They can't really be touched very easily. The French aren't going to win in a line fight. It's just a shame that the French didn't really, like, I don't know, really push on these British. I don't know if it was how easy it was. I thought they got rid of a lot. Maybe they didn't. They did a good job, have the Frenchies. I mean, it's not over yet. They can still turn it around. The Britain could make a huge mistake. But, like, with the loss of so many generals as well, it's not helped for the French. They've been unlucky with some, I think. Certainly Soult, and also that Spanish one as well. Both being taken out by long-range projectiles, whether it's musket balls or cannonballs. Just unfortunate. I mean, yeah, Dragoon Colonel General, I don't think would have broken if it wasn't for, like General being lost. That British infantry unit was not up to the standard of beating it. Really. Looking, oh, these are the Polish grenadiers. I was wondering where they were. There's 60 of the 90 left. Hopefully they'll get a glorious charge off. We'll see. We'll see. And here we go. We'll see what Britain can do. I think Britain's going to go for an all-out bayonet charge here in a moment. I mean, Britain can do bayonet charges. It's not horrific at them, and it certainly will be easier that the French have no generals. It's a little like the Portuguese fans here. The Portuguese are running away. I mean, they are grenadiers, actually. There's still these provisional grenadiers knocking about. They will cause problems. But yeah, the British can do melee as long as, obviously, it's at the right time. Certainly at times like this when the French have got, you know, very much wavering morale. They can go in for a melee charge, and certainly when the French have no generals, or I think maybe one left. Is Dragoons here going to keep going in, try and slow down the British, but they have very little morale anyway. It's not great. The French might just rout through line battles here. They might not even need to be like charged in melee. We'll see. Yeah, it's just basically a slow encirclement right now of the remaining French here, which isn't a lot. I don't think the French have much else. So they got a Colonel General. Yeah, that unit did actually rally. And some more Dragoons back here. So yeah, they actually have some... I don't know if these have re-rallied or if they just forgot about this cav. But yeah, they have some decent-sized cav units left. It's a shame that it's too late in the game for them to really make a difference. A lot of French units are returning as well, it seems. Like these Jura, I'm pretty sure I've seen it round at least once or twice. What's this? That's a Polish line infantry. I don't know if we actually saw the Grenadiers go into battle. Maybe we did. There's artillery obviously here as well, 8-pounders. They're looking the wrong way though, so I'm not sure what they're going to get done. Yeah, the British again just going into bayonet charges where they can, where it's looking favourable for them. Again, so many French units starting to rally. I'm just going to fast forward because we are kind of at the end here, really. It's not a lot left. I think it's just really those Dragoons. Once they get rid of them, the British infantry can just mop up the remains of these French infantry. Dragoons here going in for a decent charge, actually, against Portuguese infantry. And it seems most of the Portuguese infantry here today can't form squares. It seems like the really, really big units actually could. Yeah, so they might rattle all those. Oh, no, the British did manage to right that cav. They might get this one here. Get a decent charge off here. We'll see. Managed to catch out some of the British lines, it seems, without couldn't form square. I don't know what morale's going to be like for the French. If these Portuguese units just shoot on the side, yeah, you could rout them, but it wasn't even needed. Wow. That shows the dire state of morale there, and that is game. I can't see any French units left on the battlefield or on the mini-map. And yeah, that should be game. So there you go, a French defeat again at Badajoz, just like in history, just a little bit of a change with Soult reinforcing for this one. Just make it a little bit more interesting, just having a typical sort of siege battle, which would have been over a lot quicker, that is for sure. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at the unit stats. This was sent in by Johnny Le Buffoon, who was obviously taking part as one of the French armies, as you can see here. I think he was... actually inside the Portuguese, because his Grenadiers, the line here, 173 kills, very nicely done. Light infantry here with 114, another one with 103. There are the rest of the kills if you want to have a look at those. But yeah, thank you to Johnny for sending this one in, and also to everyone else that took part in this one. It's certainly a glorious one. If you want to see some more NTW3 battles, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.